universe.
You've just woken up, and if you're like me, it's more than likely you've just had that one dream where you wish it was real.
Son of a bitch!
Yeah, you can cut this. You've just brushed your teeth, you've taken your shower, you've washed your face, unless you're a Blade fan, and you've put on your clothes. It's time to start your day. So you get into your vehicle. Now, are you immediately connecting your phone to the Bluetooth, or are you gonna cut on the radio?
Was about Obamacare, and I said to her, no, you're wrong. Obamacare is just a really bad...
Shut the fuck up.
Unless you're in your mid-40s, this question's answer may not be super obvious. But why is that question's answer so obvious to someone who's not in their mid-40s? It's because whenever the radio is brought up, especially amongst young people, the sentiment is, who the hell is listening to the radio? How are these radio stations still in business when a majority of the youth doesn't pay too much attention to the radio? I'll tell you how. Number one, because the youth doesn't make up all of society. In fact, even if it did, some of the youth still listens to the radio. I'll give you an example. And I don't care if this is me doxing myself, because by the time this video comes out, I'll probably be living in a whole different state. So in the city I currently live in, Birmingham, Alabama, side note, this is one of the worst states in the country. Do not move here. All you will find is racist and terrible people. It is the worst state in the country. There is a very popular radio station called 95.7 Jams. Now, if you live in Birmingham, you without a doubt know this radio station. Saturday nights, Young DeLeon, or whatever his name is, does those DJ mixes between popular songs or outdated popular songs, I guess, for hours. Or it's playing in the car when you're riding with your mother or father. Usually this would be on the way to school, to the store, any mundane task where you're forced to be in the car with your mother. Chances are you're listening to the fucking radio. Long story short, this radio station is a staple of Birmingham, and this trope amongst different cities is not uncommon. 104.5 The Beat in Orlando, Hot 97 exclusive for New York, Power 106, the list just goes and goes and goes. There will always be a market for the radio, but not amongst Gen Z, at least not fully. I want to discuss my problem with the radio and what I believe destroyed radio stations for me completely, to the point to where anytime I'm in a vehicle, my phone is connected to the Bluetooth. If I hear the radio for a split second, I will mute my car until my phone shows that it's connected. The origin of true hip hop is still debated to this day, with many people saying New York, Jamaica, all these different places, but it's undeniable that hip hop radio for sure started all the way back in the mid 80s, with certain radio stations giving airplay to the new hip hop artists at the times, giving music to block parties, which were becoming incredibly more and more popular. In the early 80s though, radio stations were actually more hesitant to play rap, seeing as it was more of a taboo genre, if you know what I mean. This may be hard to imagine, but at one point, rap was the least popular genre of music. Fast forward to the 90s, and every major city had its own hip-hop station because of the weight that the genre was carrying. I mean, come on. Gin and Juice, It Was a Good Day, Cypress Hill, all amazing music that was on the radio. I mean, could you imagine getting in the car and hearing nothing but a G thing when it was new? Untouchable feeling, probably. And I wasn't even alive for this era, but I can safely assume that this was the heyday for the radio. Now we just have straight, I'm not gonna call any artist names out, but just straight bullshit, bro. Like that's what's on the radio now. That $1 Million Baby song. Oh my God, I've had enough of that song.
But remember, if you're someone that likes this song, you are a clown.
What song you talking about, Flex?
This song, I don't know what the rest of his songs sound like. I don't even know who Tommy Richmond is. It sounds like a shoe store.
And let me just say something real quick before I get into what is so bad about the radio. You know, like, I understand that not all of radio has to do with music. You know, there's, you know, you've got NPR and talk shows and comedy stuff and sports coverage, but I'm more so just talking about, you know, music radio and really hip hop radio. If we're being honest, that's what we're really talking about right now. But anyways, CDs weren't super popular yet. Tapes were expensive. So when you got in your flashy ride with the gold rims or whatever, I guess I don't have to target this video at black people, but when you got in your car, you were more than likely listening to the radio back then. Even artists' dreams for a long time, and still even now, want to hear their song on the radio. I mean, it's a true sign that you have officially made it. Funkmaster Flex, Charlemagne the God, Tim Westwood TV. I mean, these guys are legends and their roots stem from the radio. Now fast forward a bit, because this video is clearly not about how the radio is great. I just wanted to give you an idea of how it was great at one point. Because the radio was so popular, and in a sense still is, crack cracks started to form. Now, I don't want to be too generalized, seeing as this video is pretty opinion based, so I'm gonna go off of my experience and why I'm not a huge fan when it comes to the radio. So first of all, when I got my own car at the age of 16, my mom passed down her 2006 Toyota 4Runner. Loved that car. Now, this car didn't have Bluetooth features in it. It had a cassette player and obviously the radio. Now keep in mind, I'm 16 at this point, right? For 16 years, I was forced to listen to what my mom would listen to. Luckily, my mom didn't have shitty music taste, which is probably why I'm so cool now. But sometimes she definitely listened to the radio. Now for all of those years, I developed my own taste in music. And by 16, I didn't want to hear Rich Homie Quan, Flex, Big Sean, Blessings. What else was popular back then? It doesn't matter. Just know that those weren't bad songs, but I had my own things that I wanted to hear. And the radio plays what's popular now, and I don't have a problem with popular things. I just want to hear what I want to hear. Now I'll wrap this back up to the 4Runner. Just listen, lock in. The radio wasn't playing Raider Clan. The radio wasn't playing Tyler the Creator, at least back then. The radio was playing mainstream popular music that I was forced to listen to because I didn't have my own car. Don't even get me started on the commercials, which we'll get into later. So by the time I got my own car, I was completely turned off from the radio because they didn't play what I liked at the time. On top of the fact that frankly, I just wasn't drawn towards super popular music. It wasn't my thing. And let me tell y'all the struggle of having a car with no Bluetooth. I had to get this tape thing that had a headphone jack and insert it into my phone and play music off of that. If any of you watching this video knows what this thing is, you know the real struggle. But back to the radio, because it's not just the fact that the radio stations were only playing music I didn't like, they were playing straight bullshit. And then the commercials, oh my god, the commercials. Because the radio's so popular, a lot of local businesses and even national businesses are playing their ads on the radio in between breaks of the actual music, which, by the way, they play the same songs over and over and over and over and over again. In fact, I got in my car today and I accidentally pressed the FM button and I immediately heard Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. He is 6'9" God. I don't know how y'all listen to that shit. Dick riders.
No! Fuck. Oh my god, no.
I swear, listening to the radio today, you will hear more ads than music. And we can place blame on a lot of different things, bad music, too many ads, but the biggest thing that has destroyed the radio in its entirety is honestly just streaming services. Think about it. Would you rather cut on the radio for a chance to hear a song that you like while you're driving, or would you rather just open up Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, shit, Deezer even, and just listen to those songs that you like immediately? Now I'll go back for a second. Radio isn't dead, okay? As long as there's older people, the radio will probably never really die. I feel services like Spotify and Pandora have chipped away at both traditional music sales and radio listenership. But equally at the same time, I believe that people really prefer the lean back concept when it comes to listening to music. And when I say that, I mean they're just gonna cut on their radio, be that the music or people talking, and that's it. They don't care. Some people don't want to build a playlist or tell some app what they like so an algorithm can just spit out suggestions at you and track everything you do on your phone for advertising. People simply want to turn it on and listen. That's it. And that is why the radio will probably still be around for years' time, in my opinion. But that does not change the fact that my story is not that uncommon, that the radio just doesn't play what I like to listen to. I can safely assume that it'll be a while before I hear Glock 40 Spaz or Retta or Lil Tony on 95.7 Jams, you know? They're only gonna play the biggest songs, and I'm not trying to hear that shit. And honestly, that's like the worst part about the radio is just like, they just don't be playing what I want to hear. And you know, I get it. I understand why they'll play Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar 80 times or that horrible song with Glorilla or that even worse song with Megan Thee Stallion. Like, all they do is just play shit that I don't like hearing. And it's like, they'll play those songs over and over again, but in between that, like I said earlier, you will get the worst commercials you have ever heard in your life. And it's just like, you'll be sitting there listening and listening, and it just gets to a point where I'm like, stop. You know, is the radio killing itself? I mean, in a sense, yes, it is, because eventually all of these young people are going to be the old people. And it's interesting because, you know, you've got kids who want to be on the radio. You know, they go to school for that shit. Like, they want to be like, you know, an announcer. They want to be a radio DJ. So it's just like, radio's not killing itself, okay? But it kind of is at the same time. Didn't really know what the title of this video. Anyway, back to the... I just got a strange text. Back to the video. The interesting thing about the radio though is that if we're being honest, it's never going to die. In fact, you'd be surprised to hear that the radio is technically more popular than streaming services somehow.
Well, how? Tell me how.
I'm going to. And it ties into what I was talking about earlier. Full-grown adults still spend an overwhelming majority of their daily listening time on radio despite the rise in popularity of podcasts and music streaming services. And this is real data on listening habits. See, the thing about young people's attention span is it's starting to become obsolete. TikToks that can make you laugh in about 10 seconds, streamers that have fucking elephants running through the room just to keep you interested. Younger people just don't have the attention span to listen to 4 or 5 songs that they may like and then jump into about 5 minutes of ads when they can just go on their phone, cut on the Bluetooth, and turn on the song that they actually do like. And if you're paying for a premium subscription service, you probably don't even have ads. I mean, it just makes more sense to us, but to adults that didn't grow up with all that stuff I just brought up, they can stomach the radio a little better. There will always be that divide. I don't know, maybe when we're all older, we may listen to the radio. Yeah, hell no. Not me, y'all be safe. I do just want to say though, I mean, some radio stations are cool still, but most of the time, bro, I'm not listening to that shit. I did just want to say that this will probably be my last video for a few months. I don't know if you saw that terrible video I dropped before this one, but long story short, I'm moving to a different state and I need to work on my mental health. So low-key, I'm gonna be pulling a Corey Kenshin, but I'll actually be back, I promise. And then I'll take over. I'm UVXCX. This is gonna be the longest later, but later.
Rashad, I hate you.
Rashad, okay? Rashad, okay?
Bitch, I'm outside with my